The Tony Stewart matchup to me was really interesting because the guy had made 5 consecutive final rounds. He had won 2 races. He had been a freight train. Like, he has arrived in NHRA. And I think we all feel that his presence can be helpful to growing the sport. And now here you are, he's in your way. And what a great race it was. You guys battled, and it came down to thousandths of a second. What's it like racing, like, you know, the new Tony Stewart successful drag racer to go to the final?
You know, I've gotten to know Tony pretty well this year and spend some time with him. I like the guy tremendously. I think that we both share the same drive and passion and will to win above all. And it makes you a competitor. It makes you a better competitor. And to go up there and to get to race somebody that has accomplished so much in other motorsports, it gives him a lot of credibility. But I've accomplished a lot in drag racing myself. So I was confident going up there. I knew they had a good car, but I knew we had a good car too. For him to go down that right lane, which was problematic for everyone. We didn't make it down that lane in qualifying. Very, very few cars made it down that lane. That shows what caliber of team that he does have, and he's doing a great job. I remember this was probably 17 or 18. I went to the final there at Bristol. It was our 9th final in a row and would have been our 9th win in a row. And we broke a crank right at half track coming over the bump. So just because you've accomplished a lot of stuff in the past, you can't live on it, but you also got to build off of that confidence and say, hey, I've been here before. 5 finals in a row. That's hats off, but we've done better. And so you got to have that swagger. You got to have that confidence going in to beat a guy that has won so many championships in other motorsports, because at the end of the day, he knows his ability. He knows what he can do, and he has something to prove. And he's doing it.
Tony, I would like your perspective on his development and evolution as a driver. We clearly have seen him lead the points up until this weekend for a while, still in the mix for that regular season championship, getting his first win 4 wide, his first win 2 wide, 5 final rounds consecutive. We see the public view, and it's been amazing to watch. What about you, he credits you guys for like coaching him up from the very beginning, going from that almost like a newborn drag racing baby, getting in a car for the very first time, to what you are seeing now, which is a guy who's cutting down the tree, going after people's throats, battling it out with Sean Langdon like every week. What has your perspective been? And do you have any pride in what he has been able to do?
Well, I think Tony is one of those guys that's just naturally competitive. I mean, no matter what he's doing, whether he's playing Tetris or driving a fuel car, he's like, he's got that competitive drive. I'm going to step on your throat and we're going to get this thing done kind of thing. So, yeah, I'd love to sit here and say, hey, man, I've had all this, influence and different things like that. But the guy's just a natural driver. I know Leah's had put a lot more input into it than I have, but she rolls over and wakes up and looks at him every day, so it's probably a little bit easier to talk to him like that, but at the end of the day, I think he's just a natural, man. I mean, the guy is talented behind the wheel. He processes information a lot faster than most people. I think, a lot of guys that take 5, 10, 15 runs to start feeling comfortable and different things, but he just picks it up and applies it and, puts it out there on the racetrack and on the car. And you could just see things just happening a lot quicker with him. So I think that's why he's been so successful with all of the different types of racing that he's been able to do. He really processes the information a little bit faster and differently than most people do. And he applies it to the racetrack, So he's got a knack for it, but it's really all him, man. I mean, it's not anything I'm doing. I'm not really sure so much Leah, but I mean, I'm sure she's, giving him some pointers and stuff here and there. But Tim Wilkerson told me one time, I said, hey man, I'm going 300 miles an hour. I said, I licensed in his car. I was like, you got any pointers? He's like, hey kid, at 300 miles an hour, he said, you're on your own. So I was like, that's a pretty good tip, but it's kind of one of those things where you just take it and run with it. You learn from every lap. I mean, it's so expensive to run these cars. And, so every run I'll come back from the top end and I'm processing what happened. And you're trying to think about what I could have done better or different, or what the car's doing. And it's kind of like getting on a bull, man. You don't know which way it's going to come out of the gate and you got to ride it to the end.
But Tony's going to win. And I might as well tell this story. When my oldest son's named Cale, so I'm a NASCAR fan. My son's named after my other son named after Cale Yarborough. I was not a Tony Stewart fan. I didn't like the attitude. I didn't like the helmet throwing. It's not my style. Y'all know that. I'm going to get out after I get my butt kicked, and I'm going to smile about it. Now, I'm going to go kick Donna later, but, but it's just true. First time I met Tony, I'm like, you know what? This is a good dude. Like, he's a straight-up racer. He's obviously got a different attitude sometimes than I do, but we haven't seen that here in drag racing yet, I really like him, and I'm not just saying that for the camera and the people here. He's a good guy. But I really wasn't thinking about that in final round. I was thinking Winter Nationals and when will I ever get this opportunity again? And thank goodness it worked out.
We've got a guy who came from IndyCar and stock car and sprint car who said, I want to try to do that, and he's doing it. How do you think Tony Stewart is doing? He's sitting second in the points, so the point standings say he's doing well. He's won a couple of races. But what are your observations about Smoke?
I think he's doing a fantastic job. But and I don't mean the but in a negative way. He took the right steps. He did not go, I'm a NASCAR driver, get out of the way, I'm going to drive a top fuel car. He went through everything and took years. And, I called him one day and I said, I got invited to the Chili Bowl at a sponsor that said you want to drive in the Chili Bowl. I called him up and he said, I will not let you drive in the Chili Bowl. He goes, you will get run over. You've never been on dirt before. I'm like, well, how hard could it be? That's what you hear about drag racing. How hard can it be? I mean, just go in a circle. Those things take off with 800 horsepower. They stand up, and by the time you get to turn one, a guy like Lasowski would have gone around you and kicked you with rocks and black and blued you from head to toe. And I'm like, I'm out. I don't have no ego like that. Those guys are better than me at that. Give me time to train. I'll go slow. I'll work my way up like Smoke did. Take 3-4 years. He took a long time to get, and not only is he a champ in most sports that he's done, almost all of them, but he's willing to listen so he can become a champ. And that's what makes him great.